I don't know if I'm gonna post this video because I'm like still shaking and I feel so frazzled, but I just left a restaurant collaboration crying.
Now, I know what y'all are thinking. Simone, what the heck is going on? Who is this? Why was she crying? And what was the collab about? Well, don't worry, I'm gonna get you up to speed. Now, this is a TikTok influencer who also does food reviews. Her name is Karla. And upon further investigating this one for y'all, I realized that this is an extremely viral video on TikTok. And her original video ended up gaining 18.7 million views on TikTok. And she actually has a follow-up video that has gained 4.6 million views, both with the title Nightmare SF Restaurant Experience. Why did this go so viral? Well, Miss Karla is about to tell us.
I had a TikTok collab with a new restaurant in Hayes Valley that I was really excited for. I had it planned since last week. My reservation was at 5:30, but I went a little early at 5:10, so it was just me. My husband was going to meet me there. When I get there, I'm greeted by the host, and I introduce myself, tell him I'm here for the collab, and he was actually the guy I was speaking on Instagram with about it, so we were on the same page and ready to go. I started to film around the restaurant because I like to do that early on when there's less people. And after filming for a bit, I sit down at the table that's prepped for me, and it's a bar counter seat. I'm continuing to film the setup in the kitchen and stuff because it's really cute, but I hear the host and this other guy talking. And this other guy is behind the counter, so it's a small restaurant. He's like 2 or 3 feet away from me, so I can hear everything they're saying. I know that they're talking about me because I can hear them saying TikTok, views, followers.
Right.
So I start listening in. The new guy is asking the host who I am, why I'm here, and how many followers I have on TikTok and what my TikTok is. And this guy pulls up my TikTok and says that I have 15,000 followers and I have some videos have millions of views, whatever. And this guy is not happy about it. He was saying that I have too little followers and that this was a mistake. Saying, what about her Instagram? How many followers does she have there? And I don't use my Instagram for food. It's just my private Instagram. So this guy tells him that I have like 1,300 followers and he is not having it. Saying to the host that he shouldn't have invited me and that this was a mistake and that this was bad. And then he says, is she dining alone? Who else is coming? And the host says that I have a +1. And then he says, and this +1's late, but no one was late. I was there early. Mind you, this is all happening in front of me and they know that I can hear because we are so close to each other. At this point, I am turning red because I'm so embarrassed and I feel really disrespected. But the new guy comes to me and I introduce myself. I shake his hand. And I'm telling him that I'm still excited about this collab. Immediately, he says, did you do any research on this restaurant? Do you know what we do? Do you know who we are? And mind you, they're really new. They don't have a website, but I know their menu front and back because whenever I go to a restaurant, I study the menu because I know what I like to order. And I want to know what the restaurant is that I'm collabing with.
Right.
I tell him that you guys don't have a website, but I know you are a wine bar and you serve smaller bites. He is smirking while he's listening to me and saying that I didn't do any research and that he thinks that there's been some miscommunication. He asks for my TikTok, which clearly you've done no research about me as well. And he starts scrolling through and playing my TikToks on full volume at the restaurant. And not even my page, just the page that comes up when you search my name. After scrolling like 2 times, he says to me that he doesn't think my videos are at the level at which he wants his restaurant to be represented. He goes on to say that my audience and my followers are not the kind of people that are going to be at his restaurant.
What type of people would be at the restaurant? And how do you know, based off of somebody's following, what type of crowd they would bring? And then also, she is doing food reviews, y'all. I'm assuming if somebody's doing food reviews, you're bringing in the people that like food. I don't know. I could be off. But if I watch somebody, like, for example, if I watch Keith Lee, I'm watching to get an experience on the food. Some people that do food vlogs and stuff like that, they're showing the aesthetic. And a lot of people want to know, what is the environment like in a restaurant? What is the experience? What is the food looking like? So your audience is people that like food. What are y'all talking about? And on top of that, when y'all meet people who do videos online and stuff, playing the videos in front of them is cringe. Like, why are y'all doing that? That's odd and cringe. And then on top of that, assessing the amount of followers she has as a currency to say, hey, you should or shouldn't be here is wild. Now, I could totally understand if you thought her quality of work isn't up to par, But initially, when she overheard the conversation, it didn't seem like that's what it was. It seemed like, oh, if you're not coming with a certain amount that I'm satisfied with, like if you're not bringing that clout to the restaurant because you have the following, maybe you don't deserve to be in my restaurant giving a review. I need y'all to understand something. Anybody can give a review on your restaurant. I don't care if they only have one follower. Think about how many businesses have either done very good or very bad because of one person that they didn't expect to either bring them more customers or help them lose more customers because of their experience. Y'all don't know who's walking in your establishment. But because you wanted to judge somebody off of how much followers they had, instead of giving them a good restaurant experience, sometimes you get what you get. But I'm gonna let Miss Karla tell it.
It seemed like he was insinuating that my followers would not be able to afford to eat at this restaurant. Then he says, not to be snobby, but do you know who I am? And I say no, because I don't know who he is. He says he's a James Beard Award recipient or finalist or something. And I'm like, great. Like, I don't know what to say to that. And he said that his daughter has 600,000 followers on TikTok and that I'm not at that level.
Look, the minute I would have heard, my daughter has this many, I don't give a dang. See, this is where you messed up, sir. You over here comparing what your daughter got going on to this woman? Where is the judge? Relevancy. Relevancy. Because what does it have to do with her coming to your restaurant to give her review? People have different palates, for one. And for two, she has obviously built some sort of trust with an audience, whether you thought that was good enough or not, to where they are watching and care enough to see what she has to say about food. To discredit that is nuts. That's like saying, oh, if before Keith Lee blew up, who are you to give reviews? Anybody can do it. But now if you have enough followers, now you can come, now you can say something. Now you have a voice? Y'all do realize Google and Yelp have been here for years. And before we started measuring people by social currency, the average Joe Schmo was leaving restaurant reviews on your establishment, messing some of these restaurants up. And I think a lot of y'all forgot that because of the whole influencer culture and social media, that you actually need to treat people good no matter who they are. And this is no shade at his daughter, but I mean this about anybody with a large following. Just because you have followers doesn't mean you have influence. There's a big difference. She has the influence for people who want to spend money on food. I don't know what your daughter does. Does your daughter do that? Is she reviewing food? If not, then it's irrelevant. Because for all we know, his daughter could be a socialite. And I have nothing against those. She might be a boss babe, an entrepreneur. But these are different lanes of influence. And think about the niche of the person that you're talking to. For example, I'm not on here telling y'all to be Betty Crocker. And I'm saying this logically. Who better to go to your restaurant than a food reviewer? Somebody that's gained an audience that likes to watch them review food.
He keeps going on. He says that my cooking videos are homey, but he doesn't think I understand what they do at that restaurant.
You make
food. At this point, I'm crying and I want to get out. So I tell him that I'm no longer interested in doing the collab. I tell him that I felt disrespected because they were talking about me right in front of me and belittling my work. And he tells me that he was offended because I came in and didn't introduce myself to him, which is weird because usually during restaurant collabs, the host comes and greets you because there's a lot of people at the restaurant. You don't know who the owner is or you've never seen their faces most of the time.
Yeah.
And now it's 5:30 and my husband comes into the restaurant and he's like, hi, everybody, because he doesn't know what's going on. I tell my husband that we're going to leave and we're not eating here. And I tell the owner that I will be taking note of this because I want to be an advocate for micro-influencers, especially in the Bay Area food scene. You don't need to have 1 million followers to be respected or feel like you're making a difference. I love spotlighting small businesses, and I want to continue to do that and have fun.
I agree with everything that she said. And I don't think it had anything to do with her videos being homey. It had everything to do, in my opinion, with the fact that she didn't have enough followers. The amount of followers that one has shouldn't dictate if they are respected or not. I understand completely where she was coming from, and I think that it was unacceptable and they belittled her. Now, this is the Instagram of Kiss Cafe SF, and that is the restaurant where she was there to do the food review. And this is what it says. This is a statement from the Kiss team. Our chef's behavior was unacceptable, and he is no longer part of this team as co-owner, a chef, or any other way. As of this post, Luke, has reached out to the creator with a personal apology, and the fact that they even put his name out there, that's crazy. They didn't spare him. It goes on to say that behavior does not reflect the remainder of our team. We want to create a space that's welcoming and respectful to everyone. So in this instance, we failed to do so. In accountability, I'm all for it. People make mistakes, and he was a representation of that restaurant. Horrible representation, horrible first impression to millions of people, because as I showed you earlier, she had around 18 million views of her experience, even though she did not have enough quote unquote followers and enough clout originally. Imagine your restaurant being the one that is bringing her all this clout that you don't think she has enough of. Ain't that ironic? It says we are closing soon and restructuring after these events. In the meantime, we hope to still be able to sustain the livelihoods of our team members and their families. And it really sucks that, one bad apple can ruin the bunch. But that's what he did. Even if the food was good, the internet, TikTok is going to do their thing. So I want to scroll over real quick because there's a few pieces in this statement that are not over here in the picture. Now, this was updated yesterday, which was 7/25, and it says here, just wanted to clarify, Luke did not get fired from the team. He left on his own accord. I respected his decision, and I'm doing what I can to support my team. Paperwork is being filed and can take some time to reflect officially. In the part that wasn't included earlier, it says, lastly, we understand the frustration and anger. Please do not use this lapse in our values as an opportunity to format racism and hate speech towards us and our loved ones. I don't know what happened online, but we gonna do a little bit more digging. And somebody here commented, you wanted a review, you got a review. And look, and no shade towards the rest of the staff, but when it comes to people being employed and representing a business or organization, you can really mess it up for everybody. We seen this last week with the woman that was trying to still get over on the Uber driver at her job. They went in the comments on the Google reviews and started slamming the business, effectively costing them money, effectively damaging their reputation. And it makes you wonder, the lawyers watching this, can you get sued for messing up the reputation of a business? I'd like to know down below, because somebody here says it best. The power of the internet. Y'all don't want to be up against the internet for somebody just trying to do a simple food review. And because the chef allegedly checked Miss Karla about her not doing her research, I said, well, let me research something. I'm on Yelp, a 2.5 rating. Oh, man. And it says here, the business is being monitored by Yelp's support team for content related to media reports. AKA, the internet is doing this thing, and not in a good way. Unusual activity. It says here, the business recently received increased public attention, which often means people came to the page to post their views on the news. While we don't take a stand one way or another when it comes to this incident, we've temporarily disabled the posting of content to this page as we're working to investigate whether the content you see on here reflects actual consumer experience rather than recent events. Please note, we apply the same policy regardless of the business and regardless of the topic at issue. We got it, thanks Yelp. And as you can see, the damage has been done. More 1 stars than 5 stars. And I'm just looking at the ones that have a lot of engagement in the last few days. But if you look here, someone says the way you treat people off social media is important, whether they have 1 follower or 15K followers. If your kid has 60K followers, why not have them review for you instead of belittling someone you asked to come check out the food and vibe? Which I couldn't agree more. And you want to know why that might be? It's because there's different audiences for different things. And you can influence people to come eat food if that's not what the daughter's brand is about. And I'm not saying it isn't, but there's a difference between followers and influence. Know the difference. Another commenter says, never ate this, nor have I ever heard about it. Definitely will not support this restaurant. I don't normally do this, but you left a guest feeling unwelcome at your restaurant over followers? Unfortunately, here to make it aware how foul the owner is. I'm not sure if he was the owner and the chef, but he ain't there no more allegedly. Social media is a powerful space. Be careful next time. Totally true. And there are multiple comments like this if you continue looking. Pretty much stemming from July 23rd when I believe this incident probably happened. And it just keeps going on and on and on and on. Now, this is another Instagram page for SF Standard, and it says here that Chef Luke Sung of the 3-month-old Haynes Valley Wine Bar and Restaurant Kiss Cafe has stepped down. But it goes on to say, and to confirm that the actions that happened during that day have left a onset of 1-star reviews on the Yelp and Google page. And I went to go look at the Google page, y'all. Same thing. You don't even see any bad reviews because I believe they're being monitored. Now, that was a lot, but Miss Karla ended up coming back to her page with an update.
Okay, so much has happened in the past 24 hours, and I feel like I need to come on here and give everybody kind of an update. First of all, I woke up today to the most supportive and kind and genuine and encouraging comments and messages, and I've read through every single one of them, and I could not be more grateful and shocked at how much empathy you guys have towards basically a stranger on the internet. I am so grateful and so appreciative of everyone that's checked in on me and made sure that I am feeling okay.
Yeah.
And more than anything, I feel so proud because I think it goes to show how strong of a community TikTok can be. I haven't responded to any comments asking about the name of the restaurant or the owner because I don't want to get you guys or me into any type of trouble, but I feel like everyone's kind of figured it out one way or another. I do want to make it clear that I do not condone any type of bullying or slander to unrelated family members. My issue was with this specific restaurant and the specific management, and when this was happening, I not only did not know who he was, but I did not know that his family members were in the public eye. The short update is that I have not heard directly from the owner or the host about this, and I'm really hoping that they are open to taking accountability and learning and growing from this experience. But more importantly, I have gained so many new followers from this, which is pretty surreal. I'm sad that you guys first found me with a video that wasn't very positive, but I do want to go back to posting videos about food and recipes and Bay Area restaurants that I'm really excited for. Basically, what I'm trying to say is I feel so grateful for every single person that's been following me or started following me and supporting me. And we are such a strong community, and I hope that nobody on this app ever forgets that.
I love everything about this video. I'm glad to hear that she's been encouraged online and she wants to get back to what she's been doing, reviewing food. And I also appreciate the fact that she pointed out, hey, the issue was with the person who was making those obscene comments to her. It's not right to go after people who had nothing to do with the situation. And I thought that was very big of her to point that out because I know how social media can get. They will slander the whole business. As you can see on Yelp, that's what they were doing because the chef was working there, which I understand. However, they did come to social media essentially saying that, hey, that wasn't right and letting us know like, hey, he's not working there no more. So I really do sincerely hope their business doesn't suffer long-term because of that if they actually have good food and good customer service, because that's really what it's about. And sometimes you have employees or people working in a business that just need to simply be removed and the business will flourish because you actually have good food and a good experience in customer service, minus those personnel. But I want to see, what do her reviews look like? Now, I wanted to show, this is her very next video after all of this controversy. And you see here, it has 826,000 views on TikTok. Miss Karla, you finna be booked and busy. I already know. And I need y'all to pay attention to this. Class is in session. All of this scandal started and Miss Karla had around 15K followers on TikTok, right? Miss Karla, is that you with 329.6K followers on TikTok in the matter of a week? She was just at 50K. Miss Karla got a true Mike Jones. Back then they didn't want me. Now I'm hot. They all know me story. I'm happy for her. This how you do it. Bravo. Truly turn a negative situation into a positive. Let me see the food review.
When I saw that Gigi's had availability for dinner last night, I snatched that reservation up so quick because this wine bar has been on my list ever since it opened up. Obviously, we started off with a glass of wine each that was recommended to us by our waiter, and we wasted no time with ordering our food because they are known for their Vietnamese fusion dishes. To start off, we got the summer roll and the tiger shrimp bao. Both were easy 11 out of 10s. You can tell the seafood they use in their dishes are really high quality and super fresh. They're really famous.
Look, I'm looking at the quality. I don't know and the food looks good, but I'm looking at the quality. Miss Karla knows how to capture the experience and make the food look appetizing. How do I know? I'm a foodie. I'm your audience, Miss Karla. It's me. All my fellow foodies out there is your audience.
But honestly, this place was so good. If you're ever in the area, you need to try Gigi's.
Gigi's, you smart. You loyal. Look, people, you are about to be booked and busy. The writing is on the wall, and everybody in the comments is just saying, hey, congratulations to her milestones. If she was just, Look, this was a day ago. It says congrats on the 200K followers, girl. She's blown past that in a day. Look, guaranteed, if we come back, she ain't even gonna be near the number she's at now. And people are talking about Kiss Cafe and the fact that they're closed. But you can see a lot of people are here because of the scandal. People love a good underdog story. Just when we're thinking the story can't get any crazier, remember when Miss Karla said she didn't hear from any owners of the restaurant? Somebody, in fact, did make a video in response to her, and guess who it was? His daughter. Yes, the chef's daughter. Because not only is the restaurant being dragged through the mud with 1-star reviews, as you guys can see, so was the daughter. She was catching heck online. Straight collateral damage because of what her daddy said.
Hi, I'm not the most well-spoken, so I'm reading off what might come out a little messy, but I just wanted to say something and not fumble my words. In light of everything that's been happening, I just want to say that I still stand by what I said in my comment in Karla's video and that I support her. What happened to her was not okay, and within hours, as soon as I saw the video, I knew exactly who it was about. I called my dad, his business partner, and I reached out to her immediately after she shared it to have him apologize in person because nobody deserves to be treated that way, and I wanted her to know that she has my support. I know I wasn't the one who said those things, but hearing him use me as his daughter to belittle another person, a creator or not, was a complete shock to me and was unacceptable. As a daughter of immigrant parents, I've spent my whole life navigating these dynamics, trying to educate him on regulating his emotions and words, which doesn't excuse anything, but this isn't the first time I felt hurt by his actions and how he has treated people. When it's to me and to people in my household, we know how to handle it. But it's not acceptable to treat anybody the same way or in public. If any of you can relate to this feeling of having parents who cannot control their emotions, you might understand this feeling, but it's not an excuse. And though I love my family, this was, again, not okay. I don't condone how he spoke to her, and I don't share the values of speaking down to anyone, especially not another AAPI creator. And even if she weren't a creator or Asian American, it still would not have been okay. I know Karla's intentions were genuine, and if she doesn't want to hear from me, I fully understand that. I want to give her space, but please know that I am not the restaurant, I am not my father, and his actions don't represent me. And just like many of you who may not have always agreed with your parents, I definitely do not always agree with mine. This was definitely a necessary wake-up call for him and a learning experience that I know he is taking very seriously. The restaurant has issued a public statement and apology, and my father has also reached out directly, but again, the most important thing is that she should have been treated with respect. I'm not asking for empathy or for grace, but thank you for listening.
And honestly, this is very sad that she ended up having to suffer for what her dad said online, but I'm definitely glad to see her showing support to the other creator because a lot of people online is like, what your daddy was talking about, ma'am? She was very well-spoken, nice, and empathetic to the woman who went through what she went through at that restaurant. And I definitely can understand where she's coming from. And we cannot control the people around us. It doesn't even just have to be your parents, your mom, or your dad. It could be your brother, your sister, your cousin. Some of y'all got a wild auntie and uncle that you cannot control. Some of you got grandparents that is out of line. And I say that because I got people like that in my family. They might mess around and say something, and then if I'm associated with it, I'm going to have to apologize on their behalf. And what we got to remember is we are all human. We make mistakes, and sometimes we say stuff that we didn't have no business saying. And I applaud her for saying, hey, that wasn't right. That was messed up, because it was. Because honestly, she didn't have to make no sort of video to try to right the wrongs of her father, but she did it anyway. And it says a lot about her character. And I quickly wanted to go to the comments on this video. It says here, you handled this with such grace and took responsibility for the actions that weren't even yours. It's not your fault at all. I hope everyone sees that, and I agree. Someone else said they always put the responsibility on the oldest daughter. Y'all comment down below and let me know what you think about that. And as an only daughter myself, I know I be getting that heat. And somebody else here said the sad part is that you shouldn't have to know how to handle it. But we gotta be honest, y'all. How many times have people heard the phrase, what happens in this house stays in this house? Now, I know I have. Some people's family be wildin'. See, they don't get online and spill all the tea. I definitely feel her. Because when my daddy was alive, boy, he used to have me gasped. at some of the stuff he would say and do. R.I.P. to my daddy. And just because of this whole conversation about the daughter being brought up, I just wanted to check out her TikTok page. And as her dad says, she has over 600,000 followers on TikTok. Y'all, this is what I was talking about. And I've never been to this lady's page before. But from the looks of it, her content isn't giving me food review. It's giving me day of the life, influencer, come shop with me. Y'all get what I mean, right? Look at it. Unpack with me. You know, she got Gucci here, Chanel over here. She got a lot of travel stuff. She has some occasional food that looks like with her dad. But for those of y'all that know, this is clearly clear as day, lifestyle creator type content. Her page is not specifically made just to talk about her dad's restaurant or food. But she be eating some good looking food. Man, what is that right there? Pasta? Ooh, my weakness. But I want to know what you guys think about all this down below. What was the craziest part of this whole video? Drop the timestamp in the comments. And also, do you think that it matters how much followers somebody has if they should be able to come and do their job if they are an influencer? Or do you need to have a certain amount of clout or followers online before you can be taken seriously from brands or from businesses, or even if you're doing a food review? I'd love to know what you guys think about this down below, but we got to start making better decisions today in order to have a better future.